Just ahead on CTV News, the County Council is taking action against crime one late night business at a time. Plus,
saddle up folks, we're trotting to the finish line for the 64th annual Washington International Horse Show. Giddy up with me, Noel James, for all the details coming up on CTV News.
And the cast of A Different World at Bowie State University. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for October 17th. I'm Michaela Newton.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news tonight, a former teacher faces life in prison after a federal grand jury returns an indictment on accusations of coercing a student to engage in sexual activity and possession of child sex abuse material. 44-year-old Mark Cobb was arrested at the beginning of the school year, charged for having a text relationship with a 9-year-old student during which he allegedly requested and received sexually explicit photos from the student. In a search of his home, authorities found more images of children and several pairs of children's underwear. Cobb will face between 10 years and life in prison for the charges if he is found guilty. And a Maryland man pleads guilty to federal sex abuse charges for traveling with intent to engage in illicit sexual conduct. 36-year-old Nathaniel Scott of Bowie was unknowingly communicating with an undercover officer with the Metro Police and FBI Child Exploitation Task Force. In those conversations, Scott planned to meet with the undercover officer to engage in sexual acts with who he believed to be a 6-year-old girl. He traveled from Maryland to D.C. for the meeting and was arrested. Scott remains in custody and faces up to 30 years in prison.
And a Hanover man has been charged with attempting to provide support to the foreign terrorist group ISIS. The suspect is 21-year-old Michael T.K. Jr. According to the affidavit, T.K. had conversations with an undercover officer allegedly saying he wanted to go to Africa to join and fight for ISIS. Now, he also allegedly told the officer that he wanted to carry out an attack in the United States against people who support Israel. TK was arrested at BWI Marshall Airport back on October 14th, and he faces a maximum of 20 years in federal prison. And a family home caught fire in Bladensburg last night. Firefighters arrived at the 5500 block of Newton Street at 8:11. Now, first responders saw flames coming out of a multi-family house. 2 adults have been displaced, and no injuries have been reported at this time, but this is still an ongoing investigation.
Public safety is the aim of a bill making its way through Prince George's County Council. It's called the Late Night Business Safety Plan. The measure would require establishments open between midnight and 4 a.m. to implement a security plan. It would apply to businesses like laundromats, gas station bars, and convenience stores.
Now, it's not a one-size-fits-all. The plan could include things like more lighting, security cameras, training, or on-site security. The goal is that these businesses that are open in hours where we're seeing an uptick in crime work hand in hand with the police department to create standards.
The measure was voted out of committee. It now heads to a public hearing before a final vote.
And county officials have long led the charge for transit-oriented development in Prince George's. That push continued in County Council's Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee today. Now, David Iannucci of the Economic Development Corporation talked about the dozens of projects currently in the works, including development at New Carrollton.
And the idea is to concentrate our development inside the Beltway, near our metro stations, so that people will have good transportation access, walkable communities, pedestrian-friendly retail and shops and so forth. And that minimizes the need for infrastructure, and it maximizes the return to the county in terms of the development opportunity. So TOD is a critical priority of Prince George's County and has been for a long time.
And other future projects include developments near metro stations in Capitol Heights, Morgan Boulevard, and at downtown Largo.
Well, it's easier than ever to spread false information about elections, and officials say it's getting harder for them to counter bad actors and trickery. Election experts are concerned that the final days before the election could be especially hard for them, when false information will be spread without enough time to set the record straight. The more skeptical and aware voters become about election misinformation, the less likely they are to be influenced by it. Officials say you can educate yourself about the election certification process to reduce your chances of falling for harmful content. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, CCI Health Center held a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday.
Find out who came to support and how the center will provide affordable health care when we return.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first-round draft pick, on and off the field. We were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating, but I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Well, the annual Washington International Horse Show is back in the DMV.
Our Nora James is at the Prince George's Equestrian Center and Showplace Arena with the details.
For 7 days and nights right here at the Showplace Arena, Prince George's County will attract horse enthusiasts from around the world. The Olympic-level event is set to bring gains to local businesses and tourism, and perhaps even open up some employment opportunities for local residents. October has been marked as Maryland Horse Month, and staying on theme, the show is set to bring more than 700 participants and over 1,900 horses to Upper Marlboro. The competition is scheduled to run from October 21st through the 27th and is expected to have an audience of 85 million viewers worldwide. Throughout the week, horses are going to compete in Olympic-style courses and will be judged on accuracy and grace. Now, with local tourism set to see a spike in the next week, there really is no time for horsing around. According to County Executive Angela Brooks, the show will rake in millions in revenue.
Oh my gosh, you know what? We worked so hard to get this show back here. This is the third year. The financial impact has been tremendous. Over $24 million in impact that we've seen, and each year it just grows. It's been a wonderful experience.
This year's show is slightly different, according to Victoria Lowell, president of the Washington International Horse Show. Their partnership with the Kind Winds Initiative is set to bring a new focus on anti-bullying policies.
Well, bullying is an issue everywhere, but we see it some in the equestrian community too. And the equestrian sport is all about partnership, it's all about trust, and it's all about the relationship with the horse, and it's about the community. And so we felt it was very important. The Swedish equestrian community had a lot of success with a similar initiative. We felt that we were very inspired by what they were doing, and we wanted to see that come to life here in the United States.
The family-friendly event will also feature some goodies for young cowboys and cowgirls during the Kids' Day. So if you attend, you will get to...
You get to see the horses, and to get to touch a horse, to get to feel a horse, hug a horse, kiss a horse, and they're ponies, so they're not too intimidating.
From Upper Marlboro, this is Noel James for CTV News.
Exciting things happening for the county. Noel, thanks so much. Meanwhile, Russia, China, and Iran are increasingly partnering with criminal networks for cyber espionage, and that's according to a report released by Microsoft. Now, the report highlights growing collaboration between authoritarian regimes and hackers to target countries like the U.S. using cyber criminals to bolster state-led cyber operations. Now, notable incidents include Russian hackers infiltrating Ukrainian military systems and an Iranian group attacking an Israeli dating site. Microsoft warns that these collaborations are ramping up ahead of the 2024 election.
And the Attorney General's office has reached a settlement with Precision Toxicology for $27 million. The funds are to resolve allegations that the company billed government health programs for medically unnecessary urine drug tests and allegations of kickbacks to physicians in exchange for laboratory testing referrals. Brown said in a statement that his office will not allow companies to fraudulently obtain taxpayer money by funneling Marylanders into medically unnecessary drug tests. And in Greenbelt, CCI Health Services held its ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday for a new 48,000-square-foot health center. In attendance were a host of county leaders and local government, as well as Congress. The new health center was funded in part by more than $900,000 in congressional-directed spending. The funding was secured by Senator Chris Van Hollen and members of the Maryland congressional delegation.
When you take the tour, I urge you to look past the exam rooms and the dental chairs, and I want you to see what I see. When I walk through this building, I first see empowerment through our ownership first and foremost, because that means the community owns this space. Secondly, for the workforce education that we're going to be doing with Prince George's County and our residency program. And then finally, and most urgently, with our patient, because we have patient-clinician collaborative model of care. That means we both exchange information to make sure the best care is provided to meet the medical needs that people come to us for. It's not just enough for us to complete a visit. We actually have to make people better.
CCI provides affordable health care for over 65,000 residents in both Prince George's and Montgomery County.
All right, well, this week, Howard University is celebrating its 100th homecoming. Yard Fest is Google's most searched homecoming, and it's reported to attract nearly 100,000 attendees throughout the week-long celebration. This year's theme, Yard of Fame, a celebration of the legacy and world influence of those who have graced the campus as students and faculty. Some of the events include the student fashion show, Greek step show, and Saturday's homecoming game against Tennessee State and the legendary Yard Fest concert. Now, some notable alumni of Howard University include Thurgood Marshall and Vice President Kamala Harris. And kicking off its fall 2024 HBCU Tour, the cast of A Different World is at Bowie State University. CTV News was there to speak with the cast about the impact the show has had on HBCUs. The trailblazing hit show A Different World emerged in the late 80s as a spin-off to The Cosby Show, paving a way for Black actors, writers, and producers. The cast kicked off their 2024 HBCU Tour at Bowie State University to celebrate the magic of the iconic show that redefined HBCU culture and inspired generations.
I really never thought this would go this long and would mean this much, this far away from the time we did it. So I'm thrilled that folks your age and younger even are still like, they gravitate to this show and these characters. It means that what we were doing was good, and you know, doing your best paid off.
Kadeem Hardison, who played Dwayne Wayne, along with Jasmine Guy, who played Whitley Gilbert, were two breakout stars from the show. They showcased their tumultuous relationship alongside friends as they worked their way through Hillman College. During the panel, the cast also talked about some of their favorite episodes and moments from the show.
I love that wedding. I love the wedding. Well, never, I'm sorry. I just love it. I love it because it's Black love. And I love it because it gives you hope that there's still, and there's hope out there for a relationship, and a loving relationship.
Now the cast continues their nostalgic trip to inspire a new generation to enroll in HBCUs.
To have the cast from A Different World here, it sheds light once again on our HBCUs, the excellence that we have here, and to have them here and interact with our students, especially and with our alumni during homecoming week, it's exciting.
Love that show. Tonight, Bowie State will host a Hillman homecoming celebration with the cast to celebrate with students from 4 to 6 p.m.
And sky watchers in Maryland were treated to a dazzling celestial display last night as the third and brightest supermoon of 2024 lit up the sky, coinciding with the appearance of a once-in-a-lifetime comet. The full Hunter's moon reached peak illumination early this morning, but viewers can still catch the spectacle in the coming days. Adding to the cosmic show, the Orionid meteor shower is also set to peak this weekend, though the bright supermoon may outshine some of the meteors.
And if you're expecting Maryland to look like a winter wonderland in the next couple of months, well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it might not happen. AccuWeather, a private weather company, recently released its 2024 to 2025 winter forecast. The company anticipates that this upcoming winter season will be mild with reduced snowfall for most of the country. Here in Maryland, AccuWeather expects the state to have a below average snowfall. And the meteorological winter season will begin on December 1st. And still to come on CTV News, the holidays are right around the corner.
That's right, but who needs more socks or an iPad when everyone loves a Siberian Husky? We have our pet of the week after the break.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
With macular degeneration, you lose your central vision.
You have a blind spot right in the center of your face, so I can't actually see your face.
So even that little circle in which I could see became a big blur.
I was 65 when I first was diagnosed with glaucoma.
There were no symptoms. I had no headaches.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
You lose mobility, independence, changes your entire life.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
My husband tells me that I have beautiful brown eyes, and I don't want to lose that.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
Diversity is in our nature. It is in nature, too. Biodiversity. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk more than ever before, and the future of all life is in our hands. So what will you do? Love it or lose it?
It is so hot out today, but I'm about to get this hike in, and I just had to show you the view. Beautiful.
Yo, you should come out here. We came outside to unwind.
Oh, wow.
Close the laptop. Transmission.
We outside, come find us.
The Federal Trade Commission approves the click-to-cancel rule, which allows customers to unsubscribe from online marketing and subscriptions just as easily as they signed up for them. Companies have been known for making the process to cancel subscriptions a lengthy, multi-step hassle for consumers, leading to unwanted charges and penalties. And one supporter of this action is Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen.
So what this does is deal with that frustration that we all have when you don't mean to sign up permanently for a subscription, but you get locked in and having to pay over and over, and then it's really hard to get off. And so this is an effort to make sure that consumers don't get misled in that way. We still have another portion of this that we're working on through the bill, but this is a big, big step.
The FTC can now return money to impacted customers and levy stiff penalties to companies who violate the rule.
Meanwhile, Bruce Pack, a meat processing company, has expanded its already massive meat recall over possible Listeria contamination. Now, over 1.7 million pounds of meat and poultry products were added to the list, including ready-to-eat salads and wraps sold at Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Aldi. According to the USDA, the products also include products shipped to schools. And a school distribution list will be released once available. Fortunately, there have been no reports of illnesses or adverse reactions.
Well, 2 Marylanders scored big in the most recent Maryland lottery. According to reports, an Anne Arundel resident bought a winning Mega Millions ticket worth $1 million. The player purchased the ticket at the Check Cash Depot in Brooklyn Park. Another winner from Silver Spring scored $10,000. They bought the ticket at the Briggs Cheney Deli. The next Mega Millions drawing is set for this Friday and has a jackpot worth about $185 million. And today is National Conflict Resolution Day, and the Maryland Judiciary is celebrating with their 19th annual Bookmark Art Contest. All Maryland students from kindergarten to 8th grade are asked to create a bookmark with the theme of resolving or preventing conflicts. The top 3 winners will receive cash prizes, with first place taking home $100. For more information on how to enter, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, it's time for our pet of the week. Meet Layla. She is a 2-year-old Siberian Husky mix. She's been at the shelter since the 3rd of this month.
Animal management says that Layla is a 100% dog park dog.
She gets along with every kind of dog, hyper dogs, gentle dogs. I think that she would do good in a home that is active, as she is a Husky Shepherd mix. So she's a wonderful girl. She's very sweet. She knows commands. She knows sit. She immediately alleviated herself when we came out outside. So she does have some sort of training as well.
And if you would like to adopt Layla or any of her furry friends, make sure you call Animal Management at 301-780-7200.
Now, who wouldn't want to see her under the Christmas tree this upcoming holiday season, right?
Yeah, hopefully someone can bring her home for sure.
That would be great. All right, Simon, so what do we got for sports today?
Well, guys, we have some great news from the world of volleyball and college hoops. Stay right there, sports fans, as I bring you some highlights from the Flowers vs. Roosevelt High School volleyball game that was played last night, and also hear what Terps forward Julian Reese had to say about his new teammate, Derek Queen. Stay right there.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD. Many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we can help. Sometimes in class, the only thing your child can focus on are the thoughts racing through their head.
Why can't I just pay attention? Why am I always falling behind? Why do I feel so alone? So different.
Your child is looking to you for answers, to help them make sense of it all. But as a parent, you probably have a lot of questions too. What should I do next? Where do I even start? At understood.org, we provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do.
What up, everyone? It's time for my favorite segment, the Thursday Sports Page. Go ahead and grab a seat, volleyball fans, as I have some highlights for you. High school volleyball squad was on the road last night as they traveled to Springdale to take on Flowers. In the first set, both teams traded points back and forth as this hit by outside hitter and defensive specialist Layla Murphy and this block spike that resulted in a point for the Lady Raiders by Soraya Williams and Deja Warren played a part in the game being tied at 2-all. But that Lady Raiders offense started clicking even more, and these two spikes from the team, one from Alexis Badu and another one from Williams, helped Roosevelt build a small lead. The Lady Jaguars couldn't go away though, and they kept racking up more aces than a deck of cards as they were able to build a lead of their own. And they kept that lead as Flowers won the first set 25-21. Flowers took the lead pretty early in the second set, thanks in part to some offensive mistakes by the Lady Raiders, hitting the ball out of bounds multiple times. Bud Roosevelt locked in, and this ace from Badu, as well as another spike, this time from Kanice Wright, helped the team get out in front. And Roosevelt was able to come out on top in the second set, winning 25-19. Flowers bounced back in the third set, though, as his block spike was the final nail in the coffin to beat Roosevelt 25-21. And the Lady Jags went into the fourth set up 2-1 on Roosevelt. Both teams started the fourth set off strong, as neither one could put any distance between one another. But later on, Flowers was able to jump out to a 6-point lead thanks to his hit from outside hitter Tamaya Bean. And Roosevelt couldn't get back in the game, and Flowers won their second straight set, 25-17, and the game overall 3-1. I caught up with Flowers head coach Byron Ware after the game, and he told me what he liked from his team in the matchup.
They were focused. You know, a lot of the times this year we haven't always been focused, but they wanted this. They knew it was part of getting to the county championship, and we were able to succeed in bringing a little bit more attack than we did in the first couple games.
Man, that was a great game. Flowers take the court next against Wise on Monday, while Roosevelt faces off next against Northwestern on Monday as well. Meanwhile, there was more volleyball action last night as Gwen Park swept Friendly 3-0. Wise took down Duval on the road, beating them 3-0. And finally, Oxon Hill defended home turf as they came away with the dub against CMIT North 3-0 as well. Meantime, the start of the UMD men's basketball season is right around the corner, and the Terps will be looking to improve this season. The Terps are coming off of a season where they finished 16-17. And two players that look to make an impact this coming season is freshman center Derek Queen and senior forward Julian Reese. I caught up with Reese recently, and he told me what it's been like establishing that chemistry with Queen as a front court duo.
It's been great. He's been a great learner. You know, typically guys come in, highly touted guys come in with like kind of like a confidence and a kind of savvy that they know it all. But you know, Derek hasn't been that at all. He's just been a sponge and just ready to learn.
Maryland will open up the season against Manhattan on November 4th. And wrapping up sports, the UMD women's soccer team will be in the North Star State tonight, taking on Minnesota. The game begins at 8 o'clock.
Man, watching those volleyball highlights, I wish I can do that, but I tried once and it didn't work out.
I know, they look like they're having a lot of fun,
Absolutely.
And they're obviously really good.
Yeah, it was a great game. I'm happy to be there.
Yeah. So besides the two players that you talked about for the UMD Terps, who do you see making a big impact this season?
Well, one player I want to highlight, Mariah, is Jacoby Gillespie. He's entering his first season with the Terps. He was a transfer from Belmont. Over the summer, the Terps are going to need some production in the guard department with Jameer Young leaving. I definitely think he can be that player to step up for the team. I'm looking forward to see what he can do in College Park this season.
All right, we'll be tuning in.
Thanks
we'll be hearing it from you.
No
Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight we'll have clear skies and temps will drop to about 40. Tomorrow we'll have a nice start to the weekend. It's going to be 67 degrees during the day.
And Saturday temps will be just as nice for those tailgating. We'll reach a high of 70. Sunday we'll have a high of 72 and a low of 45.
And for our community calendar, tomorrow afternoon, the School of Transcendent Womanhood is hosting the Mena Lounge, a World Menopause Day celebration.
The multi-generational event aims to destigmatize reproductive health with positive implications for women. This event takes place at Wellspring Manor and Spa from 6 to 9 p.m. But for more information, make sure you contact 301-288-6002.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Hey, small business owners, your company may need to file its beneficial ownership information with the federal government.